Well, hello there. I am Herman Professor K. Herman Professor Barricade, and I'm drinking at Moe's. And you can tell I'm having a good time because I can't even remember my name. But I'm drinking at Moe's.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin' Mo's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody, welcome. Drinking Mo. This is Big Mo here. You know the drill. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good shit, because YouTube's algorithm is a pain in the ass. For most places and find audio podcasts too. Leave a review there. Today, I'm excited to have with me Professor Bear. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, I can't complain. I got some good personal news this morning, and wrestling related. AEW's coming to town, so I got third row right behind the announce desk, so I'm happy, excited about that. Getting to go to another show for Sammy Callahan's promotion, Wrestling Revolver.
Oh, man.
That's always a party. So all in all, I can't complain.
Man, I wouldn't complain about that either.
No, yeah. I've become pretty good friends with some of the people going out of Revolver, so it's always a fun time.
Good, good.
So before we get going too much into everything, first thing I like to start off with everybody with is what got you started as a fan of professional wrestling?
My father actually got me started being a fan. Herman K. Sr., and he was a big wrestling fan. And everybody in the house became wrestling fans because every other weekend he took us to local shows. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's rich with wrestling
Oh yeah.
history. So we used to go and like I said, just became a fan of it. And of course, on Saturdays at 6:05, it was shut the hell up because Georgia Championship Wrestling was on. And if you dare made a noise, you were gonna get murdered.
That's like right now with my wife and me. Whenever Law and Order SVU's on, she'll be like, "Okay, going to watch Law and Order." I'm like, "Okay, shut the hell up." All right. But yeah, no, I remember growing up, and it had moved to WCW Saturday night by that time. But yeah, that time slot, I remember it was, I was growing up in a Catholic family, and, you know, mother wanting to go to church on Saturday evenings. And I'd always be like, oh, I want to stay home and watch wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. But man, those are some good times. And I'm trying to think, oh, God, watching WCW Saturday night before Nitro and everything. Man, those are back in the days where it was like WCW seemed to be the one that was more frequently watched, at least at that time, because it was consistently on.
Yeah.
WWE or WWF at the time, I think it was still in like syndication. So it was like sometimes you'd see it, sometimes you wouldn't. And then other times, like it was always a battle trying to figure out when it was on.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then at that time too, WWF had Tuesday Night Titans,
Mm.
and I would hope. And my dad was so cool about it, where I should have been taking my butt to bed. He'll let me stay up as long as I'm watching that, and I had my homework done. He'll let me watch it.
Yeah, that was like my parents with me. They supported me liking it because I, for the most part, with it stayed out of trouble. So they're like, you know what? As long as he's not getting himself into trouble, he's happy, fine.
Oh yeah. I tell you a quick funny story about going to a wrestling match. And I was a little kid. I can't remember about my age, but I slightly remember it, slightly don't. But we had got to the wrestling. It used to be at the Jacobs building. And just so happened we were going in, and I think it was Ron Wright saw my brother, and he told him to come here. He said, "Look, kid, I need you to do me a favor. I want you to hide where you're sitting. Okay. I want you to hide this chain until I come get it from you." My brother's like, "Okay, no problem." So whoever he was wrestling, and the ref got knocked down. He jumped out the ring. "Give it to me, kid." My brother gave him a chain. He got back in there and bloodied that guy up. And
That is awesome.
and what did my brother get out of it? Him signing his shirt.
That is awesome. That is those are the stories I love to hear when getting started as a fan and those little interactions you get to have. I know. Well, shit, I didn't even get started watching the local independent shows until I was in the Navy in San Diego and just Googled pro wrestling in San Diego. And here I am now. But the reason we got into coming on here today was promoting your app on Roku, and there was like Fire Stick, and there was a couple other ones, but
Apple
it's all the
TV.
same app, just different platforms.
Exactly.
So, what is this app about? Tell the people that will be listening to this that might not know so much about you and the app, so they know what you guys with this app have to offer.
What we have to offer is a smorgasbord of different content for wrestling fans. If you're a wrestling fan, our app is for you. We offer actually independent wrestling. We got a few different organizations that are on our platform. We have biopics, we have documentaries. We just added um, movies with
Mm.
wrestlers. Of course, a lot of WWE wrestling, but we have that. We have a 2K promotion we do on the platform, and it's been really big and it's hit very very well for us. We have a believe it or not, we have action figure wrestling that
Hmm.
people have put together their own promotion and do it with action figures. Now, like most people, like, okay, that just sounds a little ridiculous. But I promise you, if you give it one view, you will be hooked because I was even shocked by on how well I immersed myself in it. And it's like, holy crap. And it's so good. It's not like you see the hands moving the figure. They are so creative and have the music, have great storylines. It is an amazing thing to see.
Oh yeah, like that brought up something because with the plethora of wrestling apps and streaming services, it can be kind of hard to stand out. What makes one unique from the other? And some of the stuff that you were just mentioning that very unique in as far as, streaming platforms. I know I don't hear too much of different the action figure sort of content. Like I know I hear about people having their figure feds and that sort of thing. I mean, I've got, my collection back here, most of it in box, but I remember being a kid and, the figures I had at the time, which I think my parents sold off, but that's a whole nother story. But I remember, hell, even some of the non-wrestling ones, I'd combine them with the wrestling ones and have my own little thing going. So, and I know that there are people out there that like really get into it and like get really creative with what they're putting together on those.
It is amazing. Like it was one that did the Royal Rumble, and you have all they did all the different entrants, had the music, you had a commentary team, and one of the commentator actually did the commentary is in the Rumble surprise, and they did that. Oh, and blood. Oh my
Oh
God.
wow!
It like I said, it was just so amazing. And like I said, I got immersed in it. It was like, okay, let me look at this. I just look at it so I could talk about it. Hour later, I'm looking at the next episode. Then I'm looking like, oh crap. I didn't mean to spend this much time on this. Dang, I forgot I got to do this. So I had to come back to it. But it, like I said, it's quick to get immersed in. The storylines are so amazing and funny. Like they were running with the bloodline story.
Mm.
Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks invaded. It, like I said, it's just so much different creativity behind it. And like you, when I was a kid, I would do the wrestling. I had figures, and of course, if I didn't have enough wrestlers, whatever I had, they became a team. And hell, I still have my notebook where I ran my feds, uh, did tournaments to crown first champions. I was just deep, and not until I got older realizing, hey, oh crap, man, I'm doing fed. I could actually do wrestling stuff. So it is just amazing. And
Oh, yeah.
no, and I was just gonna say that is some of the different things that you can find on here. Like we got comedians that do wrestling jokes, and and it's like wow. And we're just trying to offer different things for true wrestling fans. So, because like you said, there's other apps out there, and I'm not knocking any of them. I would not do that. But I think ours give you so much more as far as variety, originality. Plus, we have content creators on there with their podcasts to give their different views on things that we thought were really, really good. So we don't mind teaming up with people, giving them a chance to shine. So we're just truly wrestling fans that have made the step to do a little more than just be wrestling fans, as I
No.
like to call it.
Oh yeah. No, it sounds like you guys definitely have quite the variety of content. Now, you some of the stuff I've been kind of curious because I do enjoy wrestling documentaries. I have a binder full of DVDs and stuff. What are some of the documentaries that you guys have on there that you particularly enjoy?
Oh, um, well, I can tell you that I actually I have some shows on there. And one thing I like to do is give history on the wrestling journey. No matter if you're, I would say us, we know wrestling and stuff to the casual fans who don't know. So I enjoy doing that, and it came across really well from what I've been told about it. Um, there's a documentary on. We got one on the Shield.
Hmm.
We have one on the Texas tornado, Kerry Von Erich.
Oh, yeah.
We got we oh we got we got so many that my mind kind of is like, hey, I'm thinking this is doc because like I know there's two different ones on Scott Steiner,
Okay.
the NWO. Um we got some that is coming out talking about the history of AWA,
Oh.
that a lot of people didn't know there was another brand out there that was almost as large as WWE and NWA/WCW. And I definitely love talking about that because a lot of people think that Hulk Hogan just started with WWE, and that's not true. He actually was in the AWA
Yeah.
and had that run, and they were too limited in their thinking not to give Hogan the title, and
Mm-hmm.
how the different pay per views. I got a thing about the pay per views, and they talk about how it started and stuff, and then I have my take on it, where again everybody sees when you're the leader, you tell your own history.
Mm.
So being I get now I won't say I'm biased because I definitely love NWA and WCW, but I told the history from how I saw it, and the NWA actually were the first to do a pay per view,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and
Now that I think about it.
yeah, it was Starcade that was Ric Flair and Harley Race.
Yeah. The first one. Yeah.
Yeah. So just I love that type of doc and finding out things that I don't know. Um, and I will tell you this real quick. The reason why I'm called Professor Bear, my daughter gave me the nickname Bear. And talking to the guys on at the Wrestling Society Network, the owner Brady, we were talking about some stuff and I just kept going with facts. He said, "Man, do you mind if I just call you the professor? Because you seem to know everything." And it went from that to Professor Burr.
Hey, that good origin story. I love hearing like a lot of the wrestlers I have on. One of the things I always ask them is, you know, how they came up with their in ring personas, and because that first little bit can be kind of a feeling out process. What's going to stick, what won't, and definitely come heard some good ones, and that's kind of cool because you know getting getting it kind of randomly like that because hell you and I we both we love wrestling. I probably don't know as much as some people I know because I've been to those wrestling trivia contests, and if I were by myself I didn't do as well as I thought I would.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that too. We actually have that on the network, uh, Wrestling Jeopardy, and we have a lot of, like I said, a lot of different things and different people's points of view. One of the biggest things I'm really big on is me and you can have a discussion about whatever wrestling.
Yeah.
And you have your point, I have my point. We both are stern on what we believe in, but we can do it properly without hating each other, being nasty or anything like that.
Mhm.
Like we agree to disagree, and we still fans and we still friends. One of the things that just really bugs me nowadays is how the tribalism has gotten so out of hand.
Mhm.
And it's like, yeah, I get it. I'm an AEW fan. I like it a little more than WWE, and it's because of the wrestling. They actually tell stories when they wrestle, I believe, and I like the setup and stuff. Doesn't mean I don't like WWE, but I just like that style of wrestling. Where other people are like, well, no, I like WWE. That's fine,
Yeah.
but you don't have to crap all over AEW just because you don't like it. It's
Mhm.
silly. To me, it's like Impact. Impact to me has the best women's division. Period. They know
I
how to use them. They use smart storyline. It's not. They treat them as equal as the males, and I
Mhm.
love it. AEW and WWE are slowly trying, and I give them props for trying, but they have a long ways to go before they match Impact's women division.
Oh, that is for sure. And I've said it many times as far as TNA Impact, criminally underrated as far as a TV product. Like they put on consistently good shows. Yeah, like a lot of wrestling there's some of those cheesy things that happen, but that happens all the time. And I very much agree with you on the tribalism in wrestling because the thing, one other thing that I say often when it comes to wrestling is subjective. Everybody has their stuff they like, stuff they don't. Hell, you have those people kind of like me that you put wrestling on in front of me, I will watch it. And yeah, I have my stuff that I like and stuff that I might watch if I have the time, but hell, that doesn't mean everybody's got to like the same thing that I do.
Exactly.
And I always say, because I've had some people kind of get on me about this, but I've always said this. I will never tell anybody not to go to a show, go to this show, go to that show. Find what you like and watch it.
That's it. Because
Yep.
it's funny thing. My wife, she was not a big fan of wrestling. She was, but she wouldn't sit down and watch it. Well, when we started dating, she knew I told her I'm big into wrestling, so she would watch it because I was watching it. Then she started getting into it a little bit, a little bit. Then we didn't go to WWE show. We went to a local promotion. Oh my God, did my wife fall in love with that promotion? She enjoyed it and enjoyed it so much. Every time when we're going back, they got a match. When they got a match, when we got to go, we got to go. So, and luckily too, we'll be going to two in the next 2 weeks, I think. And NWA, we're going to the NWA taping, and
Okay.
I'm hopefully I can talk to somebody in the promotion. I'm really fighting to try to get their stuff there on our network. So I'm definitely trying to do that. And it's so like I said, independent wrestling, the way I love it is because you got young people that are coming up doing their thing. And I'm like, you never know that person you saw then. 5 years from now could be the world heavyweight champion in WWE, and you could say, "Oh, I remember when he did this, this, this,"
Oh
and
yeah.
it's part of the journey.
Oh yeah. And you get the interaction at the independent shows that you would really only get at the house shows for WWE. You get that
Exactly.
all the time at the independent shows. And you get to be as close as you would be at a WWE show for about over half the price.
True, very true.
But I've actually had a few people like that I've seen from the independent scene, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing them on TV, like Akira Tozawa.
Oh, wow.
When I was in California, a promoter brought him in for a show. I got to meet him after, and I remembered I actually before that show I went and I bought one of the Dragon Gate pay-per-views because he was in Dragon Gate at the time. And then I'm like, holy crap, I get to see that guy? And then I actually got to be special guest ring announcer for a friend's match. And the now Ruby Soho was like a couple matches before.
Oh,
And
wow.
now I got to, yeah, some pretty cool stories that I've got to witness. But you mentioned you have some promotions on the app. What are some of those?
We have Coastal Championship Wrestling. I just signed them is Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling.
Okay.
We have we have a German one, German Wrestling Federation.
Ooh.
We have Midwest Midwest champ All-Star Wrestling.
Okay. Okay. I know of them.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm forget. Oh, we just signed the City Championship Wrestling. They're based out of Michigan, and I think and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I think the Motor Machine Guns either own that Fed or they do a lot of work for that Fed. I'm not sure which one.
I mean, being from Michigan themselves, it wouldn't surprise me if they've at least stopped through at some point.
Oh yeah, their tapes where I looked at, they is half of it, you'll see one or both of them in their matches.
Oh
So
yeah. I've I don't think I've ever actually seen the both of them live, but Alex Shelley is actually the Wrestling Revolver world champion. So I've got to see him live a few times.
yeah, and it's funny when I look at them. Of course, you always have the Shawn Michael Marty Jannetty argument, but they are one of the few teams that I can say I would take either one of them as a singles champion. They both do great work.
No, they definitely do. I mean, they both have had their title. Shit, I'm trying to think. With the TNA, I think
Yeah, they both won the
they
world title.
both held pretty much every title in that promotion.
Yep.
So yeah, and that's something when like both members of a tag team have their single runs and they're both having that success
Yeah.
because you've had plenty out there that like Bully Ray, he had his some great singles runs. Devon, great talent, but he never really had that. Though at least as far as titles,
Right.
he never really seemed to have that. But for the Motor City Machine Guns, them both having that success is something.
Yeah, and it's definitely too because they started as a tag team, then got the single success and came back as a tag team. And most times, if that's the case, is two single stars, they put them together, they have a little tag success, but it's not the same.
Yeah, not the same as starting as a tag team, splitting, and then coming back.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with you there. All right, so I have two categories. First one is a bit of a name game where I name off some people, and you give me quick thoughts on each person.
All right.
And some of these are current favorites of mine, and others are some like back in the day
All right.
talent. First one, probably my favorite tag team of all time. I got some of their figures back there. The Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors.
They Major Thought is the second greatest tag team of all time. I only put one tag team in front of them, and it's more of what they accomplished in the short term. But well, let me rephrase that. I like this team as equal as Road Warriors, and I think I'll give them the tilt because of how many titles they won versus the Road Warrior. But
Okay. Who
but
would that
most,
who would that team?
oh FTR.
Okay. You know what? Hell, they were actually also on this list because they're a current favorite of mine. FTR. Go
They
ahead. What you got on this?
they are they're the well, what's how do I want to put this? They are the current past carrying tag team, if you understand what I mean. Their style is so 80s based, you can tell that they took Watch On and Tully Blanchard, which is in my top five tag team, and they just work. No matter what style you throw at them, they can adjust and work beautifully with it.
Oh yeah, they definitely got that intense old school mentality that like I stated many times, I gravitate towards those intense personas. Like they just have this way of drawing me in. And FTR, with the way I think they, at least in the WWE when they were there, had, I believe they even had it on a shirt. No flips, just fists.
Yep.
I love it. Love it. All right. Next one. One of my current female favorites, and funny thing, my episode with Akira, she kind of makes a short little, like, couple second cameo, just like off in the corner. Masha Slamovich.
Oh, uh, Rising Star. I like her work. I hadn't seen a lot of it because of the way TNA is all over the place with their that's and side thing. That's what TNA problem is. They need to get on an established channel and run. The going to these little platforms, it has not helped them. But getting back to her, she is amazing.
Oh yeah. Again, one of those intense personas that like, oh man, you see some of the matches she's had with like hell. She is one of the definitions of, and I like to call those equal opportunity ass kickers.
Oh
Like
yeah.
the matches she's had with people like Nick Gage of all people, and man, that was something. And I actually got to see her live one time, and she came out with a bundle of light tubes, and I'm just like, holy shit! Okay, here we go.
I loved her match with Jordan Grace. God
Oh yeah.
almighty. They tore the house down.
Oh, that they did. Well, and hell, speaking of Jordan Grace. I still remembered when the last Royal Rumble, when that happened, and like I'm hearing the music, I'm like, who in WWE has sirens in their music? And then I see her come out and I'm like, no fucking way. And I was just like, my jaw was on the floor until she got in the damn ring. Because I'm like, holy crap. I did, because the thing I give her spot in the Rumble over, let's say, Mickey James, because they both brought the same title with them, but Mickey James already had that WWE tie. She had, her past there. Jordan Grace, not so much.
Right.
So the fact that she showed up there like that, I'm like, well, holy crap, this is big.
I like you, I was like, wow, Jordan Grace. I'm like, oh hell, this is gonna be great, especially if they let certain people match up against her. Her and Jay, oh my God.
Mm.
Oh
Oh
man.
yeah, the
But I said Jay, but I meant Bianca.
Bianca, yeah.
Bianca. Oh wow. They just I was greatly appreciative of that moment. If she
The,
never works in the WWE, at least I saw them face to face and flex it. That was perfect for me.
oh yeah, and I was a little worried because I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be one of those where she's in there for a very short amount of time. But man, they allowed her to look freaking amazing.
Oh yeah. And that's what you want when you work with some you have a partnership with people. You don't want to do like AEW did TNA. As much as it helped, it also hurt. It's like you got to give. You got to give something to them. And I just felt like y'all are making them look worse than an independent organization.
Yeah, that was a little wacky time period right there. All right. Now, last but not least for this category, I actually have a kind of funny story I like to tell with this person, but he's one of my current favorites, Kevin Owens.
Uh, oh, Kev, when I think Kevin Owens, I think don't give a shit. That's just him. And I love it. Whether he's a face or a heel, he carries himself the same. I just don't give a shit. What can you do to me?
Yeah, that is one of the things I definitely love about him. And I just remember, oh hell, well, a couple years ago now, but the whole thing with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and like me being the mega Stone Cold Steve Austin fan that I am, I was like, oh crap, here we go. Like just a little worried that like something was gonna, but man, that the Stone Cold fan in me was happy
Oh,
afterward.
they
And
put on such a tremendous show. And like you, I'm like, well, Austin's been out of it. I know he's been talking about his leg and stuff. And I, I have to give WWE credit on this that they let it play out the way it did. Any other way would not have worked.
yeah,
It was just beautiful.
oh yeah, no, they did amazing. And my funny little story that I like to tell when it revolves around him was a couple of years ago. My wife and I went to Disney World with my parents, my sister, and her husband and kids. We all went down there, and we were walking on our way out, and I don't know if I dropped something or had to tie my shoe or something, and it was like all of a sudden I look up and there's that T-Rex skull tattoo on that he has on his arm. And I'm like, I slowly look up. And I'm like, holy shit, that's him. And like thinking like I wanted to say something, but then I noticed he was with his family. I'm like, I know I saw him. I want to say something really bad, but I don't want to mess up his family time. So I know I saw him, but I will admit to running to catch up with my wife and me being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Yeah, I fanboyed out a little bit.
Oh, well, okay. Did I have to match a story with you then?
Okay.
Okay. So again, I live in Knoxville, Tennessee, and you know Kane is the mayor here.
Mhm.
So this was before he was the mayor and he was still wrestling for WWE. And it was a Tuesday morning, and I was working at Toys R Us. And the store had just opened 9:30, 10, something like that. So I'm standing in the electronics area that I was covering it. And I'm just standing there bored, trying not to fall asleep. And I saw a guy way at the entrance and he started walking towards me. And I'm like, God, that guy is tall. If I can notice him that far away. And he
Yeah.
kept walking. And I'm like, man, he's bald headed. He looks ugly. And he kept walking closer. And I'm like, damn, he's really tall. He's taller than me. I'm 6'4". So I'm just standing there. I'm like, why does he look so mean? And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh crap, that's Kane. And he walks in and he asked me for something. I'm like, showed him where it was. And the whole time I'm thinking, well, damn, I know the WWE Monday Night Raw was over almost on the West Coast. I'm like, damn, he must have took a red eye flight home or whatever. So he gets up, gets the thing he wants. I ring him up. I'd never mentioned like, oh man, I know who you are. I just want to say hi. I just treat him like everybody else. I'm thinking, man, he's probably tired and probably gets tired of somebody flipping out. It's Kane. It's Kane. So I didn't say nothing. And I was like, wow, okay. Then on top, this is the cherry to all of it.
Okay.
My daughter, she worked at uh, a laundry uh, mat.
Laundromat.
Yeah. So she called me. No, she texted me. And she said, Dad, I'm going to send you a picture. I'm like, okay, whatever. How about it was Kane and my daughter taking a picture? I was like, oh, crap. And this is when he's the mayor. And she's like, oh, yeah, I told him how big of a fan you are. You got his action figures and everything. I was like, I,
That's a good one. That is a good one. All right, now I have some random questions. Some wrestling related, some not. Some have nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far. So I give you the question, first answer that pops into your head.
all right.
First one, craziest in match moment that you have been there to witness.
The craziest is seeing the Giant get kicked out the NWO twice.
Ooh.
Twice. And I tell everybody this fact, and they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, go check the tape. I'm not lying. Both times the Giant was in the NWO here in Knoxville, he got kicked out.
Because I know I know WCW, and then was it WWE when they had the NWO they got kicked out again?
No, no.
Oh, it
This
was both WCW.
Yeah, both times WCW. The first time he got kicked out, they were in the Knoxville Coliseum, and I actually was there to see it. Second time he got kicked out, they was at Thompson Bowling Arena, and I was there, and I was actually there with my two nephews, and he got kicked out. And I'm like, Man, he got kicked out. Man, he need to stop coming to Knoxville. Both
That
times.
is that wow, that's a cool little.
Trivia fact that you'll stump somebody with that.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely wow. I learned something new today. But man, I've definitely witnessed my fair share of craziness. Like a couple of them, literally, all I got to do is say second gear crew. You know, Manders, Vance Warner,
Yes.
Matthew, just those three. Any match, like I've seen them live a couple times, and Matthew Justice is jumping off a scaffold. Uh, People getting swinging half a door like they're a baseball bat, and I've I've told this story, but I get a laugh out of it. I've actually got to joke with them about their matches might as well be sponsored by Home Depot. They all got a laugh out of it, so I'm like, yes.
It's true. I remember when they knocked out rest in peace, Jay Briscoe
No,
with the door.
no,
And,
yeah,
and Mark kept making fun of him about it. Oh man, I remember that.
oh yeah. And then my first ever like actual death match that I got to witness. And I've actually had one of the participants on the podcast before, but it ended, well, it started off crazy enough because the match before it was a Monsters Ball match. And they're getting in there, clearing out, trying to clear out some of the debris. One of the guys came in, just says, fuck it, leave it. Let's go. And then it ended by them taking 4 folding chairs, bridging 2 panes of glass on there, and then the manager of one of them, I see him roll in, I see him pull out a thing of lighter fluid. And they lit the panes of glass on fire.
Jesus.
Yeah. I was third row for that one, and my jaw, I was on my feet, jaw on the floor. Because I could literally feel the heat from the fire.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was nuts. Now, I've mentioned some of the hobbies I like to use as my backdrop here. I got my wrestling figures, some non-wrestling stuff. I got my signed figures. You can't see it up top, but a lot of my Ninja Turtle stuff, because growing up, it was always pro wrestling and Ninja Turtles for me. Now, what are some hobbies you have?
Uh, if you look here, you
I was
see
going
all
to
my
say,
video games.
okay.
I got a ton of different systems. So I have that. You can't see because my camera, well, let me see if I can adjust it a little bit. My title belts.
Okay.
Uh, I'm a big comic book nerd. So
Okay.
uh, I love DC comics. I do a little Marvel, but I'm more into their cinematic than the comic
Mm.
books. But that's pretty much, and of course, being a wrestling fan, I have old DVR tapes. I got VCR tapes of different wrestling shows before the WWE butchered them, especially with NWA/WCW. So
Mm.
actually,
Yeah.
and I have a few Smoky Mountain Wrestling recorded too.
Okay. You don't hear about too many people talking about those. I mean, especially with some of the editing that they do on Peacock with some of that stuff. Now, I'm somewhat of a gamer. I don't have near the collection I see you have. What would you say favorite system and a favorite game that you have?
I guess it would be Nintendo 64. And the favorite game is going to either be No Mercy or WrestleMania or WCW Revenge.
I actually have all three of those.
I I do too. I'm on a quest to get every wrestling game that I can find, and all the basic ones I found. I actually found one for the Sega Genesis. I mean, no, excuse me, the Sega CD. WWF had one wrestling game, and I've tracked it down, and hopefully in the next few weeks I have it.
Okay. That's a cool little collection right there. I know, like, I try to get as many of those. Think I was a little upset with I and why I don't buy off of eBay anymore, because I was excited to get the Royal Rumble game for Super Nintendo, and then I get it and it isn't working. I was a little upset with that one.
Oh yeah, I've did that too. But I got one that wasn't working, and I can't remember exactly where, but the guy was like, "Hey, get a Q-tip and put some alcohol on it, rub it." He said, "I guarantee you it'll work." And by God, it did.
Oh yeah, you know what? I've had that same issue when I still had my original Nintendo. I had a game I bought that same issue. So it does work. It might take a little scrubbing in there, but it works. But yeah, no, video games right now, I don't seem to play too much of my retro systems. I got a few, and hell, with my recording schedule, I haven't really been playing too much of my Xbox Series S that I have. But I do like to pick it up. And oh god, Resident Evil, those games, the Resident Evil, I think I've only really played 2 and 4. I'm trying to get into some of the other ones, but we'll see, because like I said, right now I don't have a whole lot of time between
I,
recording, editing, and hell, the social media. I'm basically a one-man show. I'm
I, I
doing all
understand
of
that.
that.
I understand that actually how I met the owner of the Wrestling Society Network, Brady Owens. He tried to be a one man crew too, and he got burnt out. And he started in 2018, and he just got burnt out and put it aside for a while. Then in 2021, he was looking for co-host to host a podcast, and I saw it and thought to myself, nah, I'm not even gonna try. And I told my girlfriend, who's my wife now, I told her, I was like, yeah, this guy wants it. She's like, why you ain't doing it? I said, nobody's gonna want to hear me talk about wrestling. She's like, please. She's like, you love debating. If God came down right now, you would tell him, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or offend, but I think you're wrong, and this is why. So if it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't be doing this right now. So I always try to give her a shout out too.
Oh yeah, give the credit where it's needing to go. I got you there. Now everybody has their favorite foods, but I got my question here. What is your least favorite?
Meatloaf.
Okay, okay.
And, and,
I,
and,
I don't I don't mind meatloaf, but yeah, I know everybody has their own tastes on that.
and, and it's weird because I love hamburgers. I would eat it, but meatloaf, and I know it's basically the same, but it's just something about it. Ugh.
No, I can understand that, because I mean, hell, there's foods that lots of people seem to like that I just don't like peas. Like if they're in like a casserole or something, like they're mixed in there, it's like, whatever, that's fine. But just straight peas, I don't know if it's a texture thing. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And then people, I've had some people really give me crap about this one, but deviled eggs.
I'm not a fan myself.
I don't know. The last time my family got me to try one, I literally was about, I'm like, yeah, get it out of my mouth. Yeah. Yeah, I can't do those. And people talk about, like I said, giving me crap about it. I'm like, hey, go ahead. They're like, more for me. I'm like, go ahead and have them.
Take them all, please.
Yeah, hey, take them all. I don't want any of them. All right. Now, with the name of a show like I have, I would feel weird if I didn't have this question in here. Favorite drink, whether it's alcoholic or non, or one of each, because I like to make sure people know just because it says drinking at Moe's does not mean that it has to be alcoholic.
My favorite drink is orange juice.
Oh, okay.
I would drink it if it's like they could have water, orange juice, or whatever else. I'm going for the orange juice. I've left places because they didn't have orange juice.
Okay.
But on alcoholic drinks, I became more of a fan of margaritas than I really should be.
Hey, no, I can go for a good margarita any damn day of the week.
And the funny part is, me and my wife, we generally try to set a date night.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, matter of fact, this last Sunday we went out to Applebee's and they had the dollar
All the
margarita.
dollaritas, yeah.
Oh, and we both only had two. And I was like, well, the food, I'm good. And with her, she was like, you need to drive. I said, yeah, definitely. But yeah, the margaritas, I think, be my favorite.
Oh yeah, can't go wrong with a good margarita. It's a little sad now for me with one of the my favorite margaritas. My wife and I, for the longest time, we have a couple places where literally she would only have to say, "Hey, want to go to here?" I'm like, "Why aren't we there yet?" And there was this place that she had grew up on, this Mexican spot called Nettie's that was here in Omaha. That, oh my god, like literally, my family likes to go try to get us to go to this Mexican spot in my hometown, and they they don't get why my wife isn't so much of a fan of the place. And they tried to ask me about it one time. I'm like, once you've had food from Nettie's, going to here, yeah, oh god, no. But man, the last time we went there, we were sat down and like the place looked a little smoky, but I'm like, they had a fireplace that was going. I thought, oh, maybe somebody burnt something in the kitchen. Nobody was getting all, tensed up or like, what's going on? So like we were ordering. My wife had ordered. I was just about to, and yeah, apparently they could see the rocks on the fireplace glowing,
Oh,
and then they had everybody leave. We stayed for a little bit to see if anybody needed a ride out of there, and within a couple minutes, you could not see back inside the building.
oh, geez.
And they had one of my favorite margaritas I've ever had, and now I don't get to have it anymore. Wilson. That is all good. But yeah, no, margaritas, I could go on. Although the tequila I like to have in them, It's either the Rocks one Terramana or there's this Casamigos, but you gotta be careful because you mix that stuff in a margarita, you can barely tell there's any damn alcohol in it.
Well, the-
Like that whole 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila floor thing.
yeah.
That was invented because of those.
Oh yeah, that gets me every time. I'm like, man, I can't taste the liquor. This is gonna be a problem.
Oh yeah, no, you know when you can't taste the liquor in those damn things, they're dangerous.
Oh yeah.
All right. Last but not least here. Best advice you've been given.
Best advice I was given is be myself, and just because you failed at something doesn't make you a failure.
That is good. Not letting stuff, the little setbacks, they're just setbacks. Not letting that discourage you because it makes me think of there's this picture that I've seen where it's like one person digging a tunnel and another person below him digging another one, but the one guy is like walking back, like oh, like all, but then the other guy is like almost to the end, and then there's like a whole pile of gold on the other end of it. It's like, man, if you just would have stuck with it. So no, I love it because hell, even with the podcast, I've had times where get a little discouraged, but then sometimes when I think, oh, what I want to have this person on, but are they gonna want to be on? But then I always think of two things. One, the answer will always be no if you don't ask. And whenever I get, somewhat burnt out, my wife and I were pregnant with twin girls. And they weren't due until November of that year, but they came in late July.
Oh wow.
And they only made it about a week.
Oh.
And I think about them all the time, but the getting to the point, whenever I get burnt out, I always think, you know what, my little girls wouldn't want daddy to be a quitter. And I just think of them and think of that and just keep plugging along.
Yeah, I could definitely understand that. Definitely.
But that is about all I have. Where can people follow, Wrestling Society Network? So if they don't already have the app, they can go ahead and, go and get it downloaded.
You can follow us. We're on Facebook, which we have a nice size page. Uh, I think I was told we hit 2,300 yesterday
Okay.
members, and we want promotions, podcasters, whatever. Come on there and promote yourself. That's why I love you, because I see you promoting, and that's what we want. We are a society of wrestling fans. Let's work together.
Oh yeah. We can all help each other in that way.
Exactly.
That's why I'm like with the podcast and the Facebook page, I have people tagging, with promotions and stuff. I'm like, phew. I do have it set up to where I have to approve before it actually gets posted, but I'm like,
Right.
all I got to do is see that somebody's trying to promote their merch or a promotion. I'm like, approved, go ahead.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that is about all I have. I can hear my dog rumble around upstairs. He's probably about ready for dinner. I better go take care of him. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. Best of luck out there with the Wrestling Society Network. I know I'm going to be going and downloading the app on my Roku, actually. so I can start catching up on some of this content that you've promoted today, because you've piqued my curiosity.
And I tell you, we only have 30% of what we have on there. So we got a lot more coming.
Oh boy, I'm excited.
And like I tell everybody, the best thing about it is free.
Mm,
What
that
excuse
that
you got?
hey, can't beat that. All right. Well, have a good one.